and Chicken Show. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Dog and Chicken Show. This is number 9 of the COVID Chronicles, and we have the full cast with us here tonight. It looks like Phil and Tony in-house with us. Welcome, gentlemen. Tony, how you doing, man?
Doing pretty good. All things considered, I guess.
Yeah, all things considered. Phil?
Yeah.
Phil, get loud. Here it goes.
Well, as if I need any introduction, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the Dog and Chicken Show for our COVID Chronicles. As we are here chronicling this very interesting time that I believe will be scrutinized by future generations. So, join us, folks. Oh, and
awesome. This will be a fun show, of course. Go ahead, Phil. Go ahead.
Sorry, sir. I just wanted to note that today is also International Whiskey Day. By the time you usually get this broadcast, it's technically on the 27th, but a very good chunk of you will be seeing it on the 27th. So I have a good little cross-section of international whiskeys in commemoration of this very fine and often unrecognized holiday.
Awesome. We'll get into that here and much more here shortly. So credit for the coronavirus Rhapsody song. You can do a quick search on that on YouTube, of course, but we'll post a link in the show notes as soon as we get done with the live show. They did a full 6-minute rendition of the Bohemian Rhapsody coronavirus version. It was actually pretty funny. So kudos to that. The guy needs a little credit there. And also make sure you can also find the link for it over on our Big Buck and Entertainment site. And then if you're watching YouTube or Facebook, either one, make sure you're liking, sharing, subscribing, and all that stuff. I'm not going to pimp the Patreon because 3 million people lost their jobs this last week. So yeah, I probably don't need to be asking for people's money right now. That doesn't work, right? So let's get into it. That's the newest story. How many jobs? Like, it was ridiculous. I can't remember. It was 3.28 million people lost their jobs last week.
And that's probably a fairly conservative estimate too. I mean, who knows how far this scope's actually going to go? It's looking like the bill that passed the Senate, it's probably going to pass the House tomorrow. The biggest problem they have right now is figuring out how do they pass this bill without spreading the coronavirus throughout the House of Representatives. Legitimate security concern. I can understand that.
Sure. Tony, what are you thinking on it? What's the biggest scary part about 3 million people losing their job?
Oh, well, it's fucking terrifying as far as the infrastructure of the country goes. It's undeniable. And I'd be lying if I said we were seeing it firsthand as blatantly as other people across the country are. Because in our little corner of the world, we're so sparsely populated around here that we don't see it nearly as much, especially myself. Personally, I'm still putting in 50 hours a week. My company has less than 10 employees, so social distancing at work is not being an issue. And the people that I'm seeing.
Woo! I don't know if we're
outside of. So it's not. I'm not getting to see it firsthand myself very much. I assume Phil probably isn't either. You probably are a little bit more. Your travel has been incredibly restricted, but we do know people specifically who have lost hours or jobs. Like there's a gal that works at the local grocery store who also worked at the dentist office. The dentist office closed. So, her income's cut in half. Podcast buddy of ours, Jeremy Germs, not Jeremy from The Lives, but Germs from a couple of the really drunk episodes. 40. Yeah, the 40 and the, was it 35 before regardless, his hours got slashed here within the last week. So we are seeing it. And it's not just the people who are deemed unessential. It's just the type of work. I don't feel like my job classifies as essential, but my job is allowing me to continue working during this time. And obviously my wife works in the healthcare business, and strangely, she hasn't gotten that travel pass yet, which I thought for sure she'd have one of those by now. But yeah, it's terrifying because we know how vital most jobs are just to keep America running smoothly. And like you guys have been discussing on these lives, you're seeing it on the economy, you're seeing it on Wall Street especially, and it's just terrifying because like if truck drivers stop trucking, if the agriculture business stopped, those are things that could absolutely tear us apart from the inside. Once infrastructure stops, society kind of comes to a halt. So that's really the storm that we're trying to weather right now. And the waters are not clear. We don't know how we're going to come out of this unscathed. We're probably not going to come out of this unscathed. That's the scariest thing.
Yeah, I was looking. Of course, it's the 26th today, so that means most people have rent coming up, and 3 million people without a job. That's a lot of people potentially not being able to pay their rent and basic bills and utilities. Everybody that's thinking this week is bad. It's about to get real bad. Thoughts, gentlemen?
Remember that rap song years ago? It's the first of the month.
Bone Thugs, yeah.
Woo, that one's. We're gonna have a whole different look on the first of the month with this particular coronavirus. Because everybody's got bills on the first, and Tony raises some excellent questions. And Chicken, Tony, and myself, like, this is a reality that we understand every day. To everybody else out in the country, it's kind of like one of those silly cliche little rhymes. But guess what, folks? If you got it, a truck brought it. So if that infrastructure shuts down, woo! Yeah. I have a cousin that lives in Las Vegas, and I'm very worried for that family because what happens when the infrastructure shuts down on a giant unsustainable paradise built out in the middle of the desert? Like, that's
funny you bring that up.
Uh-oh.
I'm actually sending Chicken a video file that I'm going to have him pop on the screen here that I saw on Facebook today regarding Las Vegas. And as this continues to upload, I think it's almost finished. I'll get it sent over to you here in just a second, Chicken. But I mentioned this before, but my aunt and uncle were planning on going to Vegas here for the NFL draft, and that is no longer going to happen. Obviously, they canceled their trip. As many other people
canceled their draft.
Well, I don't know if they did or not. Is that true? Did they cancel it?
I haven't seen anything about the NFL canceling the draft. I thought they were just gonna stream it and just not have anybody really there. I don't know how that would play out. I don't think most people travel.
Fix it. Okay, I got you.
That's kind of what I expected. It's gonna be one of those closed rooms, like 2-3 people in the room, and Roger Goodell saying, "Hey, this person got picked by this team," and it's gonna be really not fun to watch, unfortunately.
Yeah, but we gotta set up for next season, right? So, in the off season, I guess I don't know. What are your thoughts? Who's our next Super Bowl champs next year? Let's get some early predictions in real quick before we go on with the COVID.
Yeah, that's like I said. The draft's going to be greatly affected by this, and we still don't know if we're even going to get a football season at this point. But if we do, obviously spring training, fall camp, all that stuff is going to be massively affected by this. So it's kind of a crapshoot at this point. Who are going to be the real contenders coming down the stretch, especially for the pros? I think. I don't know. I can tell you right now, I doubt my Bears are going to do very fucking good. They really kind of shit the bed the last season, but here to hoping. We have somebody chimed in and says Broncos.
Yeah,
probably not. I'm going to mark out. I'm going to mark out for my uncle and say the Raiders. Fuck it, just because I really want him to have a good season.
Oh wow!
At some point.
Phil,
what about you guys?
Phil, who do you got?
Oh, I'm This is going to be this joke may be in a wee bit in bad taste, but I think the winner of next year's Super Bowl may very likely be the Wuhan Coronas. Shut down the whole game.
Okay, assuming we have a season.
Jokes that might not age well, but I'm sorry. It was right there. The door was open and I had to walk right through. I do think there's a good chance that I don't know when live events are going to get opened back up, and I'm trying to imagine like one-on-one football in order to keep social distance.
So is the Tom
Super Bowl champion is Tom Brady himself, just Tom Brady.
Is the Tom Brady of podcasting not going to pick his guy? Like, come on.
Well, unfortunately, yes, I think touchdown Tom Brady's at least going to make it to the game, but whether he's going to win it or not, who knows? But I honestly,
who's your pick?
My prediction is I'm sticking with Corona cancel.
Corona cancel. Assuming there is no Corona cancel, then who do you got?
Touchdown Tom Brady, and the other people he's playing with.
In that team, whatever team.
Yeah, whichever one, it doesn't really matter. Touchdown Tom Brady.
Gotcha.
It's the Buccaneers this time. So.
Yeah. Okay. Nice.
For those just watching along, Phil's.
That's the minute Tom Brady thought about walking away. So.
Yeah. Phil's not a big football nut, so we just had to poke fun, see if he was up to speed.
I do know that Tom Brady's pretty damn good at getting himself at Super Bowls.
He's pretty good at getting himself a football.
Pretty well, yeah.
Note on the Bucs, though.
Deflating himself a football.
The Buccaneers picked up. I think they're picking up Ndamukong Suh. If I saw that correctly today.
Wait.
So. Holy shit! We might have a contender in Tampa Bay, not for WrestleMania, but for NFL potentially.
Wow.
Yeah, I wouldn't count on that one anytime soon. And yes,
how about you, Chicken?
Yesterday and today they've been filming WrestleMania to be played in early April. Which, yep, that's happening. So, you check us out on the Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast to see all the strange happenings of that. Wrestlers keep finding themselves isolated because they might potentially have coronavirus, and it's, I gotta give credit where credit's due. They're keeping the perspective of the show must go on. So, I raise my glass to that, anyways, gentlemen.
Awesome. Yeah, I look forward to whatever they do have for a draft. That'll be interesting to see. But yeah, I agree. Tampa Bay won't be. I don't think they're gonna make it. They might make the playoffs. I don't think they're gonna. I don't know. We'll see how this whole thing goes. I don't know. I haven't really dove too far deep into it. Again, this was just a pick on Phil and see if he was up to date with football yet and know where Tom Brady was even playing. That was the whole point of this little segment here.
Yeah.
And my superior football knowledge, clearly Tom Brady is playing for the Pirateer. No, the Pirateer.
For probably 2 seasons, and then that's going to be that.
You think he's going to retire?
Oh, hell yeah. Guaranteed.
Now,
He'll make his big bucks there, and that'll be that.
Is that going to be a true retirement, or is it going to be a Peyton Manning, Terry Funk retirement?
That's going to be, I would say, the Daniel Tosh joke of, what was it, when Peyton Manning retired? Like, you can go be a backup at a team and make boatloads of money. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Oh, what's that? You can be in the practice squad and make this much money. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that too. Basically, until my legs turn into powder, I'm going to continue making money because playing on the practice squad and being the backup with a name like that, you can make bank for years after your playing days are over. And then what? Go be an analyst. Who's going to be more trusted than Tom fucking Brady in a booth? Jesus. Yeah, that dude's set for life as far as sports go, even if he's not playing.
So what you're saying is Terry Bradshaw better be really worried.
He can always fall back on those Traeger ads.
All right.
I was convinced the one Super Bowl that I did watch years ago, whereas it was before Peyton came back, and Eli Manning had just won the Super Bowl, and Terry Bradshaw was just gushing over himself. I'm convinced that's half the reason his brother came out like, oh, Eli, you're the greatest player of all time. Eli, can I get a word? Eli, oh, I wrote you a poem, Eli. Would you like to hear it? Like, I was quite taken aback with how enamored by this man Terry Bradshaw was. So that's my one take is, Terry, you're being enamored with other football quarterbacks.
I remember the year that it was Peyton watching Eli and the Giants beat the Patriots, and Peyton's up in the fucking booth just going, yeah, he's excited, he's cheering. You can see him all happy that his brother's winning a Super Bowl. And then when Peyton and the Broncos were thrashing, was it the Seahawks a few years ago? I can't remember now, but Peyton's thrashing him. It wasn't even close. And then they panned over to Eli watching the game in attendance, and this was Eli.
That's Eli all the time. Like, honestly, it's the most boring football player ever.
Oh, yeah. Horrible. All
right, gentlemen, can we move on to the actual subjects of the night?
I sent that file to
like Rob Gronkowski hosting WrestleMania.
Fuck you.
All right. Okay, I'll watch for that to come through, Tony. I haven't seen it yet. All right. Number one subject on the docket tonight, before we jump too deep into it, I guess, real quick, for those watching, want to go ahead, throw in some comments or questions or any things that you guys might want to talk about as we move along past some of this news and some of the stuff we're talking about. We'll bring up some of the topics you might raise, do some Q&A with y'all, any shout outs that you might have or funny stories, go ahead and throw them in the comments or PM one of us, and we'll definitely bring them up and chat about it. Plan on going, I don't know how long we'll go. One night we went 4 hours, so I don't know. I don't know if I want to do that tonight, but we'll see.
I'm probably not up for a 4-hour excursion, but we'll try this. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
I sent it to your Gmail too, so we're gonna get this figured out. I am obviously broadcasting from my desk at work with a mobile hotspot, so we'll see how long that allows me to do that.
That'll be awesome. First thing I wanted to bring up, and Phil, is probably more up your wheelhouse. I don't know how much you dug into it, but the Senate again passed the stimulus bill. But now it sounds like the House is waiting until tomorrow to actually do any type of votes, and it's keeps getting put on hold, and everybody's arguing back and forth. What are your thoughts? Is this thing going to pass, or are we just going to wait another week while everybody has rent to be paid next week?
It's looking like they're going to pass it tomorrow, which that's acceptable because they're trying to figure out a way to pass this bill without spreading the coronavirus, which I understand that. The problem is they're going to try to do a unanimous consent, which is basically, we like the Senate bill. We're not even going to try and amend it. We're just going to expedite it through so it can get to the president's desk. The problem is, if one Democrat in the House of Representatives says, I object, and I think we need to amend this, the whole process was for naught. And the whole thing can get...
And isn't AOC threatening to do that?
Remember our bet about AOC getting out of Congress?
Yep.
If she does that, I'm going to owe you a bottle of Booker's, because the entire powers that be apparatus will just do whatever they got to do to gerrymander, redistricts, whatever they got to do to get her out. They'll do it. So that one.
So you're going to have to drive that bottle up here, though. Okay.
Well, that might be tough in a week or two. But hopefully come election time, I'll be able to make said trip, sir. But honestly, I think even she has enough political smarts in her head, enough calculus to know that might not be the hill to fight and die on. One would hope. One would truly hope.
Does she?
And we did mention the other day, or you did, Chicken, Ilhan Omar actually praised the president. And again, I always bring up, in terms of persuasion, What Ilhan Omar did, like, again, I don't agree with her politics. I don't think I've agreed with much that she's ever said. But in terms of persuasion, that moment was purely sublime. One of the most persuasive moments of her career, because her greatest detraction, what her critics always say is, well, you don't really have America's best interests. You're not playing for our team. I don't, whether this is true or not, these are what her critics say. You're playing for the other side. You just want the ruination of America, blah, 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 blah. We've all heard this before. When she said that, she actually was able to turn back that criticism of, why did I say this thing that's off character then? And what was the question just asked?
The comment that came on said, you're giving her a lot of credit on that.
Oh, I know. But again, I always bring up, when I bring up persuasion, don't think I'm necessarily talking about the truth. Truth and persuasion don't always occupy the same territory. But in order to be persuasive, that is something that is helpful in your life. And so whether I agree with them or not, whenever somebody comes out with something that I think is truly persuasive, I like to point it out, because Donald Trump was elected to the presidency of the United States through the power of his persuasion alone. And so that's why I think it is something worthy of examining when anybody in public life does it. So I don't agree with I can't think of any political stance she's taken that I truly agree with her on, but this was a good statement for her to make. I will say that.
Fair enough. Tony, you've been paying attention much to the stimulus bill? Any comments or maybe questions you might have on it?
I guess I've paid attention to it a little bit. Actually, wife called me. Was it yesterday morning? Maybe it's, I don't know. The days are all running together anymore. But yeah, like Phil was saying, it's basically decided, and it should go through tomorrow. From the sounds of it, fingers crossed. And the number I last heard was 2,400 a couple, a married couple, and then I think 300 or 500 a kid. So you're looking at a pretty big number. But as Phil was mentioning, they're trying to do it without spreading this, and that's it. It's going to come down to direct deposits. They don't want to send checks out because that just makes people get out of the house, drive to the bank, so on and so forth. So yeah, I think it's a done deal. You know, it sounds good. Everybody I've listened to talk about it sounds like it's pretty much all ready to go. And hopefully, yeah, because first of the month is coming, the bills are going to be coming out. And as we talked about at the top of the show, job losses and the hour cuts, and it's scary. So if it doesn't get done and people aren't allowed to pay their rent, we're asking for landlords and companies all to be very lenient with people not paying. And as we know, big business, even in a pandemic situation, probably isn't going to be that fucking kind.
Right. And so seeing another numbers coming out, maybe 3,400 a couple. We'll see what the final number is. But I don't know. I've been trying to avoid the news, but it inevitably catches up to me, and then I get sucked in. I'm like, you got me. But there's a lot of the fat in the bill that everybody's wanting to argue back and forth, and some people saying, Republicans are adding their own fat and Democrats are adding their own fat. I think, Tony, I think I chatted with you a little bit about this. They're both wrong to do so, and they both are trying to play it off like it's meaningful, like it actually has something to do with a pandemic. But there's just some gross ones. Like I get, the slush fund, whatever. Yeah, sure. I don't know. I've never been a big fan of like throwing a bunch of money at a corporate entity and not having to have any stipulations with it. That's always fishy. I guess I want to read more on that, but, I think I'm more upset with kind of what trying to sneak in. Here you go. Somebody posted in the comments already. Sean, heard Dems trying to sneak in Green New Deal on stimulus package. It's they are. They've been trying to sneak it in there.
They wanted to do, was it maybe this was last week or earlier this week, but they were trying to sneak in some $35 million upgrade to, was it the JFK Arts Building?
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah, performing
are
arts.
are you fucking kidding? Right now, that's what they're trying to reroute this from when the Republicans brought it up, and they tried to sneak some stuff in, and that's why they didn't like it, because it wasn't their idea, and they didn't like the stuff they were trying to sneak in, so they voted it down, and now they came up with a better plan, and they're trying to sneak their stuff in. So I've been going off about this for a better part of a week and a half. I'm like, this is not the time to be trying to sneak shit through, because everybody can see through it that wants to. Everybody can see what's really going on here. This is not the time for political leveraging. This is the time for
it's time for a career.
ladies.
It's time for career suicide, is what it looks like to me. Well, Phil, what are your thoughts?
God, you gotta understand, Chicken, remember a couple weeks ago when I told you that you had figured out the perfect way to end public sector unions forever, and your inner Democrat, your inner 25 million to JFK Center. Okay, thank you for PBS. Now here's the problem: the arts, they're very important. They're good for society. They're not necessary for the economy to be moving forward. They're not. Now, granted,
Said nobody gives a shit about liberal arts.
But honestly, this is my inner 20-year-old Austrian economist Keynesian is just hating every word that I say, because I am sounding like a Keynesian in this moment. But
the inner commies coming out of Phil. Yes.
Oh, it's worse. Keynesian economics is just, but here's the problem. Maynard Keynes was right when he said that sometimes when the engine of the economy's gone dark, you need to give it a little spark, give it a little jump. And he, unfortunately, when the Senate passed the bill that we're going to spend $2 trillion, you watch the Dow jump up 2,000 points, which has not recovered all that we've lost. But it showed my theory quite well that without some major injecting of funds, we are on the way to a deflationary depression. And that's quite terrifying, but also when people talk about, the Republicans are trying to get in their pork, the Democrats are trying to get in their pork, everybody's trying to get in there. Good. Fuck. Good. I know that's terrible to fucking say, but fucking good, because we're on the cusp of the 1920s deflationary depression all over again, and I don't see the internet or something else, the internet 2, arriving in the next 6 months to save it. And so here we are, and again, 22-year-old me is just wanting to kick me right now because, oh my God, the Keynesian economists are just sitting back and laughing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's disturbing. Well, while we're in between, I'm going to jump over to my scotch here. I got some Jura Superstition. You guys said it's a lightly peated single malt scotch whiskey. Phil, you said you had tried this one before?
I've tried a Jura, not that particular one.
Not that one.
Oh, it was peaty, but it was delish. What are you drinking tonight, T? Tony G?
I am much like yourself on the bar I see there. I picked up a bottle of Chivas 12 because I had not had a bottle of Chivas in a while, and luckily I got the last of the gift pack and got a couple samplers of the 18 and the extra Olosoro Sherry Cask Chivas. So Phil and I will be doing, I believe, 3 separate reviews of these scotches very soon for your enjoyment on the Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast. Check us out. Shameless plug.
Shameless plug. Hell yeah. So we'll continue on with the prior show's drinking games. So every time somebody says the C word or the virus, I think we all know what I'm talking about. Or if you hear somebody cough, that's a stop and drink moment for all of us tuned in and on the show. So this shall get fun. Tony, I do have the video that you wanted me to show everybody. We'll pop over here. I'll play through it. There is no audio with this, like you said, but walk us through it, Tony. What are we looking at here?
Again, what has been discussed before was how desolate Las Vegas is, and these pictures I found on Facebook earlier today. I put them up on a slideshow video so we could show it, and you're never going to see Las Vegas like this again. It is completely dead. It's empty, and there's a couple of specific pictures that'll pop up. You'll see like, holy shit, this is like looking at Las Vegas if it was being shot on The Walking Dead. It's eerie. This one specifically. Look at that. All
boarded up. Yeah.
Yeah, crazy.
Wow.
You're never going to see shit like this again in Las Vegas. Like, Phil, I know you've been there several times. I've been there once. It is asses to elbows busy, never stops 24 hours a day. There's always people around you constantly. And I think I only saw one moving car in all of these pictures. It's insanity. Yeah, there you see one there at the intersection. No people, hardly any traffic. It's a very haunting image, and this really showcases how this is affecting the very populated areas, especially like this. Like Phil said, this is an economic cesspool of people, and there's nothing there. What kind of effects are we going to see because Las Vegas isn't churning out the money?
I don't know. That's crazy.
That and it's out in the middle of the desert, and it has to rely on the Colorado River for almost all of its water. And LA relies on the Colorado River for a lot of its water. And there's cities all the way up the river that rely on the Colorado River for its water. And what happens when one of them decides to take a little more than their fair share in this crisis? You have a giant city, a fake paradise built on top of a desert, and the water runs out. Now, I love Vegas. I've been there many times. Beautiful city. This virus has also been devastating to the international poker scene. Games like you really can't get a game of poker anywhere. Like, it doesn't matter where you go. Vegas, Morocco, fucking Singapore, doesn't matter where you're trying to go, you cannot get a good poker game going anymore because everyone's freaked out by the virus and the big players can't travel and move around.
Yeah, and Sarah had mentioned that heard that the lights were off. You might as well, I guess, especially in non-residential areas. And then sounds like Eric said Disney World, very much the same scene.
That makes sense, especially because of the amount of foot traffic that Disney has on a daily basis from international travelers. Like, we knew once the international travel ban hit that it was going to be very much like that. But now that we're being very restricted on state travel is getting cut down. Man, yeah, I think Disneyland closed, and I assume Disney World may have. I don't know, but if it is still open, I'd be surprised. But yeah, big areas like this that have nonstop foot traffic, it's creepy to look at. It really is.
Oh, Phil, the other day we were all texting back and forth. You mentioned on your drive back from York, it was eerie how few cars there are. Andrew posts similar issue here. He drove for damn near an hour, it sounds like, with hardly seeing any cars or trucks on the road. That's creepy. I had the same experience. I had to drive to Minnesota today. Oh no, Minnesota's on lockdown, and I went to Minnesota. I got cooties, whatever. But I drove about 2 hours in to go do some stuff for work, and like normally that interstate, it's not like packed, but I don't know. It was eerie. It was eerie for multiple reasons, because it had rained that morning and then the sun hit, and so there was like this weird steam fog, but then it was still sprinkling on top of it, so it was just kind of a ominous drive the way it was looking around you. But then there's like nobody out there other than like a lone cop once in a while, and I'm like, well, I got South Dakota license plates, he's probably gonna pull me over and ask for my papers. Nobody will, but
nope. You're not getting
no, that's
pulled over
interaction they don't want.
My dad, he's got a semi that he uses to run grain about, and him and a lot of truckers have been a lot of drivers have been joking that, wow, is it just me or has the speed limit gone up like 10, 15 mile an hour? Especially, like I said, if you got it, a truck brought it. So they need those to keep moving. So I wouldn't anticipate you getting a lot of flack unless you come up with like a National Guard blockade at some point with a bunch of 18-year-olds with their rifles. I could maybe see you having to show some paperwork at that point, but otherwise, we're all just wanting you to keep doing that voodoo that you do so well.
Aaron makes a good point. Glad I live in Nebraska. I'll pull up that map here soon.
But the thing I wanted to touch on was the fact that we live in Nebraska, and unless if this gets worse and worse, and we start seeing the state by state, attempt to shut down state travel, we're going to be appreciative of that here in Nebraska, because everybody not being able to attain stuff in the very populated states are going to probably look at branching out and trying to come to places like this because of the low population. It's a weird thing to think about. But one thing I saw on
losing Tony
Facebook,
again.
The brilliance. There's a picture of a tractor pulling some equipment in the field, and it says, "In case you need a reminder of how utterly stupid the American public is today." The comment says, most people go to Kroger's or Albertsons to get groceries anyway. So there you have it, folks.
Yeah, maybe we need a few to. No, that's inappropriate.
Don't go there.
So here's our. Yeah, I'm not going there. That's for an edited show to come. So stay-at-home orders. All the red states are the current stay-at-home, and non-essential business closures are the yellow states. Most of the data on here is pretty close. I did notice Minnesota actually does not go effective till midnight tomorrow night, but they announced it on the 25th, so there's probably a few days off on some of these, but not surprising, from the coasts working their way in. Minnesota, New Mexico, I think were two of the newer ones to announce closures, along with, I think, Colorado actually. It says NA. Maybe that was the newest one. It sounds like Colorado has something closure-wise coming up as well. Alaska, it doesn't show that on here, but I read Alaska said 3 weeks, and then any businesses that cannot adhere to the 6-foot rule, the social distancing rule, have to close by 5 p.m. So I don't know. I think maybe we can talk about the map and other states and closures and whatnot. I don't think we've heard a little draconian shit going on. We've heard some arrests in New Jersey for people throwing parties and weddings and weird things, but otherwise nothing crazy yet. Nobody's losing it. We'll see what happens next week. But travel's still allowed interstates right now. As far as I know, there's no roadblocks saying you can't go anywhere you need to go. And then, I don't know, you've been watching Trump's press conferences. To me, it just seems like we're trying to keep everybody super calm at this point and almost playing it off like what I got out of today's press conference. I'll go with that. I don't know if either of you watched it, but I watched it and it was very... Hey, we're going to go back to work in a week or two. So Like we can't keep doing what we're doing. We're gonna go back to work in a week or two, and we're gonna keep 6 feet away from each other when we go back to work. Deal with it. Like that's kind of the attitude we got.
We got a couple of questions I see here. One is why the 6-foot rule, and also what are the odds they shut all the other states down?
So from what I understood, the 6-foot rule was like if you cough or sneeze, like that's the distance that typically your like juices and shit that blows out your mouth and nose will typically fly is 6 feet. Chances that all other states, I don't think Congress or Trump can do it by themselves or would personally shut down the entire country, but I could see 50 governors finally just doing it. Like if Trump did it, it would be I don't know, that'd be him giving up the election, in my opinion. Like they would have a heyday with him on the media. Oh yeah, they would, Phil. I know he's just itching right now, but Congress can't fucking do anything. So, but it's an executive order and Trump's pretty much said he wants the governors to make their own decision on this. So I think there'll be some holdouts, but to be honest, every state right now, I'm going to tell you right now, is they all have a model in place, just like we hear on the news. There's these models that say this and this and this. They all have a model, and when they hit a threshold, they have a plan in place, and they will shut down. It's just a matter of time. It's not if, but when. Each state will have some type of lockdown quarantine. Phil, you're itching. I'll let you have it.
Well, absolutely. And the idea that Trump would be giving up the election if he were to order interstate bans on travel, I'm afraid not only I don't agree with that. In fact, I think it would only improve his approval rating at this point, because we're in the middle of a crisis that is now touching everybody, and our president will be seen as taking decisive action. That's... Whether you agree with it or not, that will be ultimately what the history books will say. And that will be what people will speak. And so that's how I see that one playing out. I just don't think it would be this, oh my God, he's thrown the election away. We're, for the first time in my lifetime, having sincere talks of pushing back the election date if this virus doesn't subside.
God, I don't want to go down this road.
Is really, like, 3 election cycles ago, 2 election cycles ago, 6 election cycles ago, there would have been riots in the streets. And now they're saying, yeah, we're going to hold the election back to like January. Everybody would be just like, okay, that's where we're at.
Well, maybe they're trying to give Biden some time to get his shit together. I don't know. Maybe he's getting some of the ginkgo biloba or whatever, and that's supposed to help your memory. I don't know.
Hey there, Americans!
Since we're going down the
muscly arm, vote for me.
Muscly arm.
Come down and give me that muscly arm paper, boy. I'm Joe Biden.
So what about
the one where he was talking? It's like, I'm Joe Biden, you need to vote for me, and then he just starts wandering off the fucking camera, and he's talking, and then he realizes what he did, like, oh.
So you guys seen the article I sent you earlier, or the video I sent you earlier today, that he has a credible Me Too going on right now, where a woman from 1993 came out with sexual assault allegations, and it actually sounds like this could be a thing. It's not surprising to me in any way, but
wait. As
if he could have won. Now it's just done. Go ahead.
Are you telling me that Democrats can get accused of that as well?
Well, since he's not Brett Kavanaugh, you're probably not going to see it on the news. So I'm just going to say that.
No, I just wanted to say the thing that hurts most about this being an election year and all the won't they prevent people from traveling from state to state, and it's either going to, like Chicken, you're saying it could help his chances of reelection or it could hurt his chances of reelection. Phil disagrees or agrees. I think the most unfortunate thing, regardless of which side of that coin drops, is that it is an election year and we're not going to get the proper accommodation as a population, because every move they make has to be done in consideration that we are still hopefully running an election in November. So everything that they do is still being taken with that in the back of their head, because had this happened next year after he was either ousted from power and we elect Joe Biden, or he wins re-election, that would have been this whole focus, was focusing on this pandemic. Instead, now they're focusing on the pandemic while they're trying to get their guy in office, while he's trying to get his bid for re-election. So that's the thing that hurts the most, I think, long term.
He just keeps hurting himself. Did you see his? He's had like 2 videos out, I think now, and one of them like he had a cue card issue messed up in the middle of it, and then they just cut it. It was hilarious. I just laughed. Yeah. He's doing the little Phil thing there, like give me.
Come on. I'm lost without a freaking teleprompter. Please give me something here. Yeah, that one was pretty bad. Like, Tony, you're thinking, yeah, I mean, they're all doing things in consideration of this election. Well, Jesus, we have Republican presidents and a Republican Senate wanting to give out checks of free money to people. It looks like it might be a fucking election year. Holy shit, I never thought I'd live to see the day. And also, Jeremy, in the comment section, sir, thank you for being here. And he says, looking good, gentlemen. And thank you, sir. I always do. Given that I'm a handsome outlaw. Looking good, fellas? Anytime, sir.
I got sweats on.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting one for the history books, is how this last 2 weeks and how the next 6 months are going to play out, which is why these chronicles are so essential, gentlemen.
Yeah. So I don't know. I guess we mentioned the stimulus bill. Anything you guys want to wrap up on that, and then we can talk some more COVID. None of us have had to drink yet. Way to go, fellas. I think we just need to cheers for that.
All right. You just said it.
I said COVID. I didn't say the C word. The other
It's the
C
same
word.
thing.
The beer, the beer one.
All right.
Beer flu.
Just drink, you asshat.
I guess wrapping that portion of it up, I just hope this, I hope by doing this, they have a good plan in place that once this all wraps up, hopefully, that we're not going to get absolutely backhanded after this all washes over. I hope it's a long-term thing that we'll be able to deal with, that's not going to affect us immediately financially. And okay, next tax season or the next 2 tax seasons come around, we're like, well, sorry, you can't have your tax return this year because we gotta take all that back in one big shot. Hopefully that gets spread out. But on top of that, this isn't like in 2008 when Bush sent out the Bush bucks, as I like to refer to them, of I think it was $500 or $800. That was just to stimulate the economy regardless. And that was during his second term. So this is very much a ploy for hope. Hey, reelect me. The Dems are like, hey, look at us. We're trying to make it better for you. So it's still political leveraging. But people, when you get these checks, you do need to take into consideration this isn't free money. You're going to pay this back at some point in some form of fashion. And when you have the money, use it responsibly. Put it towards your bills. Put it towards your groceries. Put it towards your essentials, because we still do not know how long this is going to last. That money might be your only money, especially for those who hours have been cut, who are out of work. We don't know. We don't see the light at the end of the tunnel yet. You guys kept talking about this being the cusp. This is still the cusp. So we get this money at the cusp. Be smart with it.
Yeah, there's a lot to think about with it. I do like what Sean brings up here is was this conjured up to just break the economy and try to ruin Trump? I gotta. Okay, I'm the conspiracy tinfoil hat guy on the show here. I've seen several thoughts on this, and I've actually kind of come to a couple of my own conclusions on the conspiracy sides either way. I do it. So I'll frame it this way. If this was conjured up in some way, because we've had, I think where Sean's coming from is we've had, the swine flu. We've had the bird flu. Like, we've had all these other things come in the past, and the media tried to panic us then, and we didn't fall for it, and it just blew over. And now we kind of joke about those. But now this one came about, and everybody panicked, and it was forced down our throats so badly. But then I think, here's my tinfoil hat gets into it, is I think the scientists showed those models to Trump. But here's the deal, the models, and they discussed it the last 2 or 3 press conferences, is the models they showed were, hey, we're on track for 70% of the population being infected with this in a very short amount of time, and it's got X amount of death rate with it on top of that. So you're looking at millions of Americans dying unless you do something now. So if you're the president, you're going to listen to that, right? Like, you have to act if your top scientists are saying that. Now, add that with the media, add that with just everybody in the country freaking out a little bit. There's a couple things you can do with it. You can act on it, and that's what he did. And then you watch the media like flip-flop on here of, do we follow Trump? Do we hate Trump? Do we yell? Do we not? Do we screech? Do we moan? And that's what we're in the midst of right now. But now he's trying to calm everybody back down, because they announced that those models don't match the results. We have data now, and they don't match at all what we were thinking was going to happen. And, maybe that was because we did the quarantine stuff and this 6 foot distancing, whatever. Maybe it's because of those measures that we took. But even with those, it doesn't look like those models are panning out. And I think it was Dan Bongino put it best. He said, when the scientists come to you and say you're going to, I can't remember the analogy he used, but it was something like, if you're going to buy a new car and the dealer is like, hey, this car's either going to be able to make it 500 miles and it's really going to suck, or it's going to make it about 100,000 miles and it's going to be all right, or it's going to make it 400,000 miles and it's going to be an amazing vehicle. So choose, like, do you want it or not? Like, and that's what was given to the president. Now that he has the data to go, oh, well, I don't have to worry about a worst case scenario now. And that's probably why he's trying to calm this down and trying to say back to work by Easter. Phil, we'll go to you. What are your thoughts?
The other day I was heading back from my farm, and I had a thought that I kind of shared with you guys a day or two ago. And it was a speech by Boris Johnson, British Prime Minister. Did either of you watch that at all? Just curious. I'm going to take that long silence as a no. All right. There's a reason why I sent that one to you guys. Boris Johnson in the UK is operating under the impression, if you were to listen to what he says, operating under the impression that everybody in the United Kingdom is eventually going to catch the virus. And we need to spread the infection out over enough time so as to not overburden our healthcare services. And I actually pulled up the speech, if you would indulge me, gentlemen, the little part that makes me a touch worried. And do my best, Boris Johnson.
Oh, God.
And I want to begin by reminding you why the UK has begun taking the approach that we have. Without a huge national effort to halt the growth of this virus, there will come a moment where no health service in the world could possibly cope. Because there won't be enough ventilators, enough intensive care beds, enough doctors and nurses. And as we have seen elsewhere in other countries that also have fantastic healthcare systems, that is the moment of real danger. To put it simply, if too many people become seriously unwell at one time, the NHS will be unable to handle it, meaning more people are likely to die, not just from coronavirus, but from other illnesses as well. So it is vital to slow the spread of the disease, because that is the way we reduce the number of people needing hospital treatment at any one time, so we can protect the NHS's ability to cope and save more lives. And that was Boris Johnson's address to his nation on the 23rd of March. And
I know why I didn't watch it now. I can't stand British voices and accents. That's painful.
In there, did he mention anything about stopping the virus? We're going to cut off the flow. We're going to end this. At no point did anything other than let's slow its spread so that not too many of us are in the hospital at any one time. Because, guys, the incubation period for this virus is 2 weeks. So any one of us could have the virus for the last 2 weeks, and we could be spreading it to everybody we know, and we won't know for 2 weeks.
Sure.
And that's why the orders are there, and it's to slow its spread, but I don't know if it's meant to necessarily stop it. I think eventually, like you mentioned a couple weeks ago about the Walking Dead virus, hey, guys, we just all have it. And I wonder if that's going to be the eventuality. This is not the first pandemic to sweep through all of humanity, and probably won't even be the last. So, it's kind of a concerning thought.
It is. I still hate your British voice. That was painful. I don't.
Cockney accent of Boris Johnson. Like I listened to the speech. I was just trying to do my best impression of Boris Johnson. I would have you play the speech, but Jesus, don't know if we'll get struck for that. So again, do my best impression.
Yeah, again, They don't hate everything I put.
A little persuasion tip for all the folks at home. If you're able to do a good impression of somebody, it's very easy to persuade them that person said it. Okay, it's a persuasion. Again, persuasion 101, folks. That's why you come to the Dog and Chicken Show Extreme Editions, COVID Chronicles, to get the real persuasion tips. But anyhow, that's kind of a thought that's been knocking around my head, so I kind of wanted to share it with you guys, see what you think on this, because this virus does just transmit from the droplets of water that come from your breath. When you cough, you're releasing air at over 100 miles an hour. So just regular breath does put droplets of air 6 feet out from you. And if you're like somebody like me, you give big, verbose belly laughs.
You need to stay like 12 feet away.
What's that?
You need to stay like 12 feet away.
Yeah, exactly. And why do people, why did it spread so fast in Italy? They got a culture where they like to kiss. They're very loud. They like to, very, like, there's a reason why in that culture you express yourself very openly. And that was going to make the virus spread quickly. That, and it's kind of like the state of Nebraska here, where it's an aging population.
Yeah, there was a lot of elderly folks in Italy, so that didn't help things, and obviously the elderly being a little bit more susceptible and easier to contract and get sick from it. Let's see. Oh wow, conspiracy. He's triggering me right now. I think Boris is just working on population control. Jesus, Sean, you're gonna get my tinfoil hat all fired up tonight, aren't you? I don't.
In 18 months, if England ends up actually getting their herd immunity like they're theorizing, they're going to be looking pretty smart when there's still no reliable vaccine produced.
Yeah. I tell you what, quick pause from that talk. This Jura superstition, very good. This is actually, it's got a slight peat to it, but it's similar to the Oban. It's real similar to Oban with a little like slight peat to it. It's good. I love it.
Give us a quick review. Let's hear it.
Oh, we'll save it. That's not for this show. We'll.
Oh, come on.
I got other ones to do, guys. We got Old Pultini. I did get the nice single barrel Jack Daniels too, and then I got the Ardbeg. This is actually a really cool one. This is the only reason I got it is because it comes in like this like little barn house looking thing here, and actually like it's all made of a tin, and it opens up and you get this nice pretty bottle inside. It's pretty sexy. That's the only reason I really bought it.
I don't know. I'm skeptical on that one.
For tease promotions, Chicken, here's my idea. Your review of Judah will be debuted on the KOE Nation page. So there you go, folks. There's your incentive to come on over to my page when it debuts.
Nice. Janunzio pops in. You guys have the cure right there. Lots of alcohol. You damn right, sir. You damn right.
Well, it's necessary. Tomorrow, Iceman, welcome to the show. Tomorrow is International Whiskey Day. So I decided to have whiskeys of the world out on display. Now I got Canadian, Irish, Scotch, Japanese, and good old American bourbon all on display.
Nice. Which one are you drinking right now?
Actually, right now, I was drinking a cocktail of, well, actually, it's a highball of Teeling, Irish whiskey, in a rum cask, and root beer on the rocks. It was actually quite good. This whiskey is good for any cocktail. If it's a whiskey cocktail, I would recommend this one.
Awesome. Any more C word? I heard a throat clear. That wasn't a cough, was it?
Steve.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Guess you'll have to drink. Sorry. I'm an asshole.
Couple of comments. Was,
we did have a cough drink.
All right.
That was a home playing along.
Janunzio says we call our cure the McCormick Serum.
Oh.
McCormick is in vodka? Oh, dude, there's so much better vodka.
Oh, wow. Yeah. McCormick vodka? Oh. I still got that.
Specify, please. Is McCormick vodka?
When you have the Dan Aykroyd Crystal Skullhead vodka that's poured over diamonds after being distilled, I can never buy McCormick again. Like, come on.
There's even cheap vodkas that are light years better than that. That's like grocery store vodka, man. Come on.
That sounds good.
Narrow. Wow. Oof.
Now, I don't know if you guys have heard this, but Tito's of Tito's Handmade Vodka, they have completely shut down all vodka manufacturing, and they're just making hand sanitizers right now. And several Scotch companies have done the same. So I'm kind of glad I got me a 175 at Tito's before all this fucking went down, because it's pretty good whiskey. It's pretty good vodka. Excuse me, root beer. It's pretty good vodka. And
what the fuck is going on?
Just had but yeah, it's pretty damn good vodka. And now it's gonna not be as available because he's completely shut down his distilling process for vodka. Now he's just making proof hand sanitizer, which is not a bad business model in today's world.
No, it's not.
No.
Should we pull up the
bottle of Tito's?
Should we pull up the map and see where the infection is right now?
Yeah.
Since we're all just obsessed with this whole, I'm gonna say it, Corona virus.
My Corona.
Oh God, he said it. So that's drinking twice now. Thanks.
I'm an asshole. Now I'm gonna let the audience decide. Do I go? My next drink, will it be Japanese whiskey, bourbon, Irish whiskey, Canadian whiskey, or Scotch?
I'm gonna say
the
Scotch.
That, and about a minute or two, we'll see what the majority of comments say.
Since majority of the folks that are in the chat, I think we know where most of y'all are. I'll selfishly plug what I got going on in my neighborhood. The closest case I got is 2 folks south of me, and then in the city north of me, 16. So I got 18 around me. I don't even know about this one. This is new to me. And that's over in Iowa, across the river there. So not a whole lot going on up in my neck of the woods. It sounds like we got more of a scare over in Huron, which is a little bit closer to the center of the state, and possibly some activity in Rapid City bubbling up here shortly. Let's get down to your guys' neck of the woods, though. Anything?
Nebraska.
The open barren land that is? I don't see shit.
No, there's not. I mean, there's. I know it was a week or so ago. Hastings had its first confirmed case, but I think it just comes down to the testing still isn't there. Once we have the testing in this little area, it's going to go up. It's going to go up big, I'm sure.
Lincoln's only got 3.
That can't be right, really.
No.
Omaha's
Well,
got
as I said the
44.
other day, as I said a couple days ago, I think UNMC is only doing like 10 tests a day. So
according to
I
the
don't
New
know.
York Times, there's 84 cases confirmed in Nebraska.
So let's just pull it up by state here.
By the way, while you're getting into that, Grow the Farm Up just popped in and just got a chance to tune in, guys. Some of us have to work. LOL. There's no hours being cut where I'm at. People gotta eat. One step closer to tyrannically imposed full body condoms? ? Save life.
Yeah.
Farm Up. Check him out on YouTube. Like, share, subscribe to him too. He's got a pretty damn good channel if you don't know what he's about.
So he brings up an interesting point of people got to eat, right? And we all seen like the news stories of it hasn't been mass chaos in stores, but we all seen the panic over toilet paper. We all seen some of the dumb shit going on. Probably one of the alarming things I seen with my trip today, heading over to Minnesota. I head over there for work, and I'm talking with folks, and they're like, "Yeah, like we had the original like blow up in stores and people freaking out, and then it calmed down. Like this last few days wasn't so bad, and then the governor came out and said, "Hey, we're doing lockdown Friday midnight." And then everybody just rushed the store and it started all over again. Like it was just brand new. So, and of course it's human nature. Everybody's like, I thought I was okay on toilet paper. Maybe I'm not, just go get some. So they rush the stores and they panic. This is what it looks like when people's bellies are full. Imagine if they're hungry. 3 million people don't have jobs right now and potentially can't pay rent pretty soon. And then more and more week after week, this is with full bellies. You just like, if this doesn't get better faster, and that's probably my argument to the stimulus bill, needs to just fucking happen. Like, they're playing with fire right now, and we're all going to get burned if they don't pull their head out of their ass and just get this done. Thoughts?
I can't really disagree with that last part of your analysis there. Yeah, the stimulus bill needs to be passed, and Grow the Farm Up, if you're still with us, and a few other, like you know how much it hurts me to say this, but yes, we need to inject as much money as we can as possible. Oh my God. Free market libertarian me is just like, it's like James Brown having to like walk off stage, just wounded, but I'm back, folks. I'm back. So
we got a lot of gun nuts in here tonight.
When you have the free market is going to be interrupted. There's no way you can work your way around that, because the free market is the study and action of goods flowing freely amongst individuals uninhibited. When you have a pandemic, you can't deny that that's somewhat shifted. So
I kind of want to just take a picture of this screen right now. It says, "This is what socialism looks like," and it's got Phil right above
Keep
it.
Keep it on. Keep it on.
Yes, comrades. But it's unfortunate. But sir, what I would posit to you is right now we are on the very cusp of, as close as we've ever been in the modern era, to a deflationary depression. And if that hits us, we're going to be back in the 1920s depression with 4G. That'll be
5G. It'll be 5G.
Somehow I think some of those places are going to just halt new tower construction with all this. Call me crazy.
So we heard 2 cases in Kearney. Yes, that is confirmed on the Johns Hopkins site. There are 2 confirmed active cases in Kearney as well. That'd be Buffalo County, Nebraska. For whatever reason, John Hopkins doesn't know what any town in Nebraska is named, so they just do the counties. It's kind of funny.
Makes sense.
Yeah. What else we got?
There's a lot of small towns out west that a lot of folks don't know the name, so that's understandable.
Yeah. So beyond that, make sure we're getting our shout outs in any questions or comments you guys have. But nobody did give Phil a drink. He asked if he should do bourbon or whiskey or scotch. Was that the
Well, people
choices?
suggested vodka, and he's not drinking vodka.
No,
Whiskey
it's
Day.
International Whiskey Day. No vodka.
So I just poured myself a little bit of Cragganmore Scotch, 12-year.
Oh God, that's good stuff.
Bayside. This was one of the better reviewed when you guys were down. So
That was the one I liked the best out of the ones besides the Dalmore.
yeah, well, yeah, the Dalmore just knocked everything out of the park. Let's be frank, but
Yeah.
that's actually one of my brother's favorite whiskeys now. So
How about what do you got Canadian there, Phil?
well. It's in a lovely Crown Royal Extra Canter, but it's Crown Peach. Mix them all. Oh my God!
I did that.
Yes, Tony did, and the rest of the night was him screaming at me.
Well, not
Yeah,
screaming, just disagreeing loudly. It was not.
Jeremy wanted you to go with that Japanese whiskey.
Well, that'll be the next one I get into. This is Kamiki, a Japanese maltage. It's actually batch number 1. It's actually aged in Japanese cedar casks. So it's a little
African. You got any African there, Phil?
actually, there's not very many well-known African distilleries, but I am looking for a bottle of Uncle Nearest Scotch. I actually have some right here. Uncle Nearest is actually a distillery that's been reopened by the family descended from the man, Uncle Nearest himself, who was a former slave who was actually freed post-Civil War, and he actually became the first master distiller of Jack Daniel's distillery. He actually taught Jack Daniel's himself the charcoal filtration process that they still use to this day. And his family, generations later, has opened up a new distillery called Uncle Nearest. So actually, I'm trying to get my hands on that for a couple of different podcast ideas.
I think Aaron's just throwing random shit into the chat at this point. Like,
But you know what though?
I'm quick on the draw.
I kind of like the idea of taking a splash of each one in a glass. You could be doing your own Phil KOE Whiskey Day blend. I think they might be onto something here, Phil.
might be.
My God, I don't know, like, because this is Crown Apple in here.
Maybe not that one.
Yeah. That sounds
But
terrible.
yeah, that and I kind of joke.
Phil needs to refresh.
What's that?
We need you to refresh your feed, Phil. I think
Yeah, you're like
choppy.
5 seconds behind. Your audio's good, but your video kind of went to crap on us there, sir. We'll give you a second to jump out and jump back in. I'll be waiting for you. In the meantime, we'll two-man this shit real quick.
Couple
Grow the farm
of
up.
comments were, holy shit, drink your own pee, it's sterile, and I know you like the taste.
Oh, Jesus.
Outstanding. Wow.
Thanks,
That's
Chris.
great.
Thanks.
Yes. And then, of course, Jeremy Coonard says we should be eating squirrels. And again, as the Squirrel Master champion, I approve that message, and I think that's something everybody should learn from. And I have tried squirrel, and it's actually pretty good dark meat. Not gonna lie.
Jeremy actually sent us, and welcome back, Phil. Jeremy actually sent us a video of how to cook squirrel properly. Did he not?
Yeah.
Like, it actually kind of looks.
I think it was a picture. But yeah,
That might have been. Yeah.
I did. It is good. I had it on a stick a couple of years ago at the squirrel.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah.
wait a minute. You're talking about your squirrel title, Tony?
I am.
Well. How convenient is this that Tony G and Chris Giannunzio are all in one convenient place? Two folks who have screwed me out of championships in the past. So it would be. It's only fitting that you're both here today and talking about your squirrel championship, which, Tony, WrestleMania coming
All
forward.
right. Nobody knows what you guys are talking about.
Put the squirrel title on the line.
Bullshit! Like at least 12% of our audience knows what we're talking about.
Yeah, that's true.
All right.
True.
Grow the Farm Up brings up, isn't Washington, D.C. a juggling fire act? Great point about this people's reaction with full stomachs. Watch out for the reaction if the food infrastructure breaks down. You guys are all part of it. Yeah. What if it did break down? What if there was nothing available? I don't think that's going to happen, but shit. Like
What was that show you used to watch? God, years and years ago, it was on TV. It wasn't like The Walking Dead. It'd be like The Walking Dead without zombies. But basically, like people just kind of rallying together. I think it may have been a contagion. I think it was called like Jericho.
Oh yeah, that was where nuclear bombs hit like random spots around the U.S. and everybody was just on their own.
So basically, if the infrastructure shuts down and society comes to a halt and we can't get stocked store shelves anymore, it's going to be a lot like that, where people start banding together to get what they want. And we are looking at pretty hard times. I hope it doesn't come to that.
Yeah.
Well, I was kind of trying to dance around that, but you remember, oh boy. But yeah, with full stomachs, people are starting to freak out. I've often said we won't have riots in the street so long as when you turn on the TV, there's football on the TV, there's beer in the fridge, and when you hit a button in your bathroom, your shit flushes away and you don't have to think about it anymore. So long as those three things stay constant, you will not have riots in the streets. Football is getting interrupted, but we can live without sports. Let's be honest. Sports is a nice to have, not a need to have.
Whoa. God damn it, Phil. Now you're pushing buttons. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Oh my God, Chicken. Might have to fucking mute you for that intro. But anyways, we're starting to very quickly learn sports is a nice to have, not a need to have. What was the comment up there, sir?
It was just doomsday preppers better study up.
Oh, yeah. Everybody was laughing at them. Now who's laughing now? The beer in the fridge. That's still going. For some reason, liquor stores and in some states, weed stores are still essential businesses. And the sewage systems I foresee working throughout this entire endeavor. But Grow the Farm Up, excellent point about with full bellies versus empty bellies. That's when you get people in the streets. That's why Egypt had to import as much bread as they did before things went down quickly. Same thing with Libya. They were starting to get hungry people, and that's why they had riots in the streets. America, God, it's hard to imagine because we're a nation that we got all these preppers, and we do have a very robust agriculture infrastructure. It's just if our trucking breaks down, the distribution networks break down, and that's where you get the problem.
That is the biggest concern, is the trucking aspect of it, because I I think I coughed. Sorry,
bastard.
Sorry, everybody drink. I think what this whole process has done, and what we've witnessed is probably it's a good test run. I kind of joke about it, but honestly, it was a good test run to see what our infrastructure can handle and how well we react, how quickly we react, and what the masses do and don't do. And I've already, like in what I do for my job, I've already started lining out when this shit calms down and gets over, like things I'm going to put into place, because the confusion in certain aspects of things. It was, how do I reduce the confusion? How do I create an environment where I never have to deal with that confusion again? There were small little blunders that we were able to quickly fix, but I wouldn't want them to happen again, because you never know. And if we didn't catch them right away, whatever. But like, I already have contingency plans for when this all settles down. We get back to normal business this summer, hopefully. Hopefully Easter would be great. Maybe Trump's right. I don't know. We'll see what happens in the next week or two. But either way, I think we all got a good test of, what does your local community do? How's your school react? How's your job react? How does the government react? And I think out of all of them, like, I'm very impressed with businesses. I'm really impressed with logistics and how quickly they reacted to it's a struggle. God damn it, I coughed again. Sorry, hold on. Drink. I think it was a really good test to see, like, how did everybody handle this, and the one that didn't handle it well was Congress, and honestly, they're the ones with egg on their face right now, in my personal opinion. Everybody else did great. My school did great. Well, they don't have to do anything. I'm teaching my kids, so I guess I'm doing great. Yeah, how about that? Piss off. They had a parade, drive around in their car and wave at all of us. I'm like, you driving around on my tax dollars and waving at me when I'm teaching my own goddamn kid right now? Piss off. Like, I wasn't too happy about the parade, but that's just because I'm kind of an asshole like that. I don't know. What do you guys think about it? Was this a successful test? What'd you learn from it? If it ends tomorrow, what are you going to take away?
If this ended tomorrow, I'm going to say that people are a lot better than we give them credit for. That's if it ends tomorrow.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it, because we've really only been dealing with this at a high level for the better part of a month, and not even quite a month, because we did our first coronavirus episode.
Oh, you said it. God damn it. Drink, folks.
But we did our first episode about this right on like the 1st of March or the 2nd of March. And I want to say like 2 days after that is when this really started blowing up. So we've really only been dealing with this hardcore for about 3.5 to 4 weeks. I mean, it really started to weigh on us as far as the severity of this goes. So you're right, Phil. Society has dealt with this pretty well, considering the scary numbers that we've been shown over and over and keep going up and up and up. But yeah, if this continues on the trajectory that it is right now, and we still do not see a light at the end of the tunnel, I think that, yeah, it's the grading of that is going to go down pretty severely, because people are really going to start getting worried, especially if the bills don't get paid, especially if the stimulus gets held up, especially if the stores don't get stocked up once this really starts hitting, the point where the truck shows up and they can't give it out little by little, and there's just nothing to get, and we really start getting desperate. When we start getting desperate, that's when we'll really be able to grade this and really take a look at how we're going to move forward from it.
If you're going to grade it today, where we at today as a society and whole in America on a F to A scale?
It's right now, I guess I would give it a B.
B? I think that's fair. Phil, what would you grade it if it was a school grade and this was a test? How is America handling this as a society and a government?
Several grades I'd give out. America, probably give an A-, considering how low our death toll has been compared to Italy. Now, we're in the eye of the storm. We still got some pretty bad days to go yet. In terms of the WHO, giving everybody proper forecasts and not just believing propaganda and helping everybody to stop the spread of this. I give them an F minus. Europe and the UK for finally shutting their borders and finally stopping the flow, I'll give them a C. I'm just being honest. But yeah, America and Canada, I would give them A minus. Mexico, B plus.
Yeah, I'm just kind of popping around and like, who is the A plus right now? And I think the A plus right now is like Germany. For whatever reason, they're just like immune to this whole thing. They're
bitches.
Yeah. So
they're A plus plus.
A plus plus. They got 43,000, almost 44,000 confirmed with only 267 deaths. So they have half as many confirmed as us with only 267 deaths. We have 85,000 and 1,000 more deaths than they do. So I will see what that does over time, but compare us to China. So we have more confirmed cases, but China has almost 3 times as many deaths. Italy has nearly the same amount as us with 8,000 deaths. Spain has almost 60,000 with 4,000 deaths. So, I think the B plus A minus rating is pretty fair when it comes to survivability and taking care of our people. I don't know. I'll switch to the B plus because of how poorly our government has been working together when it comes to the stimulus piece of it and what's to come. I don't think we're ready for 2 weeks from now. And by the way, if they did pass a stimulus, like say they do tomorrow, like they're supposed to, it's not going to show up for 3 weeks. So guess what? Rent's still not getting paid next week, even if they pass it. So get ready for next week, folks. Shit's going to hit the fan.
Out of curiosity, I hate to be that guy, but what are the numbers at North Korea?
Everybody who's like, hey, I got a cough. North Korea. Let me pull up the map. I'll show it to you. It's actually, I don't know if it actually shows them on here. I saw one map and it had like color codes. And it shows North Korea as blue. And it was the only country as blue. And it says suspected. That's all it said. It didn't tell you anything other.
Are you implying, Chicken, that North Korea might be suppressing their COVID-19 numbers? I don't know what to say to you, sir. Like, yeah, that's pretty obvious. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me see if I can't find that map again, because that one did make me chuckle when I seen it. That was pretty entertaining. Oh.
Yeah, unfortunately, decades and decades and decades down the road, everybody's going to look at that and go, well, boy, they sure handled that pretty swiftly. And, oh, look, the thinning out of the herd, man, that was really the way to go. It's those idiots in America that tried to make everybody okay and just not let nature take its course. Unfortunately,
history sides with the winners. So,
yeah, exactly. And it's, it might not look as fondly on how we eventually handled things. And that's the scary thing about it. History, the numbers don't lie, but neither do the results. And that's the unfortunate, scary, dark truth of it.
Yes, the dark, scary truth. So here's our current world map, or current case count here. Let me get this thing rolling live again. Get it all caught up. So 85,837 cases in the United States, 1,294 deaths with 713 recovered. Apparently China just completely stopped having anything go on. That's interesting, but I don't know. What are your thoughts? We all know China's lying, but
yeah, given. That's a given. I don't know. I guess my biggest question is, how are we comparing, since we took the top spot, apparently, supposedly, how are our testing compared to China now that we've gotten some into place and it's functioning better than it was a week ago? What is our testing like compared to theirs?
As far as numbers, is that what you're looking at? Like,
Yeah, I guess how many are they actually testing a day compared to what we're testing a day, and confirmation from the tests?
you know,
It's not immediate yet.
I haven't looked into China because the testing number wasn't an argument with China. It was an argument with what was it, Italy? That we tested more than Italy, and that was the thing. You got me fired up on that chat group about that one. I was having to calm myself down a little bit. I'm like, Jesus, Tony's spitting his damn Husker board freaking propaganda at us with this. Ugh.
They're fair questions. It's fair questions, and I want both sides of the coin because that's the only way you get the truth.
And so, okay, so we'll recap that one real quick. United States has tested almost 500,000 people, which is more than Italy tested. Okay, that's just a blanket number, and that's what Trump was touting on his speech. So the media grabs a hold of that and goes, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! That's not necessarily true." Well, no, it's not, because per capita, we have 5 times more people than they do. So yeah, percentage wise, no, we didn't test more, but pure numbers wise, yeah. In what he's touting, in 8 days, we tested more people in 8 days than they were able to do in like 4 weeks. That one I haven't fact checked yet, but it's probably pretty damn close. It's like we're just mass testing everything right now. That's where I started getting more annoyed with the questioning you had for me, though, was because I'm like, why does this matter? Like, why is this being the argument in this? And I'm going to shit on your Husker board, by the way. A bunch of little commies in there. Phil and I joke back and forth about being, you're being a commie, but no. That Husker board is full of commies. That thing is terrible. And that whole argument is null and void, and it's mute to me because it doesn't fix anything. Arguing about what Trump said or didn't say, or if it's totally true or if it's only partially true. Okay, go work for fucking Snopes and shut the fuck up, because nobody cares about that. That does not save lives, and it's a waste of everybody's time to argue about it. I'm like, there's real problems out there that they need help with, and the testing's only going to continue to get better if we do the right things when it comes to helping with PPE and not screwing up the supply chains and overbuying dumb shit we don't need and hoarding things in our garages. Like that. But no, they want to go, well, Trump said this. That's only half true. I don't fucking care. Nobody else cares. You just get stuck in an argument, and then it became a talking point. I'm like, what the fuck, man? No. Like, get away from them. Get away from them. They're poisoning you. They poisoned the well. Jesus Christ.
It's easy to see through it, though.
I was just going to say, in regards to testing, remember when we had those defective tests a week or two ago that we found out weren't really working that well one way or the other? Do you guys remember that stuff?
Yep. 70%. Yep.
Okay. When you think about it, are you that shocked that China, in the middle of its pandemic, sold the bad tests and kept the good tests for themselves in the middle of a pandemic?
No.
Really? Like, when you think about the basic economic motivations of that, really shouldn't shock you all that much. So it's like, wow, yeah.
No, it's not shocking at all.
Probably should have some domestic production of that. Oops. Yep. That was the entire world relying on one supply chain, and that we all got egg on our face now.
Grow the Farm Up popped in with an interjection from our prior conversation. A B+, you kidding me? You're going to give Congress a passing grade. Trump did pretty good. There was no playbook. Win include the media, like 37% F is generous. I agree with that. Wind of change are a blowing. And yes, and to clarify, my B+ rating was more leaning towards the American people, and the reason I didn't give it an A- or higher was because of how shitty Congress is handling it. I think as a society and as companies, And what we're seeing with the American workers and people is great. They get an A plus. Congress, meh, yeah, F. Yeah, they get an F, and then the media gets a fucking F. So, but the American people outweigh them by far, in my opinion.
Hell, I'm giving the media a G. Like, just even one letter lower than F. I'm just giving them a fucking G at this point, and a G minus at that. So that, yeah, they've been doing all they can. Like, it's been pretty craven at this point. Like, I understand not liking a guy. I understand not wanting him to win presidency. Jesus Christ. But I don't know if you've been paying attention to it, though. Despite all of it, Trump's approval ratings are at all-time high, and his disapproval ratings are at all-time lows. So, like I said, you're saying, if he throws Fox, a lock, he's going to give away the election. No, he's going to steal the election at that point because the people are looking for decisive action, and they're not.
No, sorry, Phil, to cut you off, but like his ratings right now, Fox News is the only one covering his live shows. 8 million viewers, more than The Bachelor's season finale. CNN, MSNBC are like, no, we're not going to watch this because it's fake news. No, you're fake news. But anyway, I'm like, but it's funny because like Trump's always like, oh, MSDNC and CNN don't like ratings. No shit, they don't. They're not doing the president live right now. Are you fucking kidding me? Everybody's watching it, and you're giving all your viewers over to Fox News right now? I was like, these guys are fucking idiots.
No, they're trying to back their guy, and putting him on with a high approval rating is not going to be.
That's the thing. They're not showing Biden.
It's a power play.
That's actually trending on Twitter. Where's Biden? Like, keep Joe Biden alive was another one on Twitter. Like, nobody knows where he is, and they want him to stay alive.
I give it a 70-30 in favor of him being alive, but there is a 30% chance that they're bringing in Biden clone 3.
I just coughed. Sorry. I laughed too much. Drink.
No, I just wanted to come back to the conversation we were having the other day and what was getting you all fired up. I get it. And no, that was the whole reason I brought that up was because I like to stir the pot no matter who I'm talking to. I like to offer that objective view because, like you say on like Husker board, the message board I'm on, it becomes a massive echo chamber. Well, you know, you could accuse us of the same thing sometimes because we're just like, they're all fucking crazy. They're being extreme liberals, but
Oop. He'll come back. He always does. Maybe not. All right, we may have lost Tony there.
Tony G.
He's back. He's back. Start that over. You were talking about the Husker board and the liberals.
Oh, I was just saying, like, you could accuse that of being an echo chamber because it is most of the time, but you could accuse us of being a bit of an echo chamber amongst the three of us when we get on topics like that too, because we don't go over to shit on the bad stuff. And, you know, for the most part, we're pretty kosher about what the administration's doing. And we all pretty much have like you guys maybe more so lean right than maybe me sometimes and vice versa. But, I like to have that objective viewpoint. The thing that I was bringing up to you the other day was you're talking about Donald Trump on Twitter and making these claims of, oh, well, the testing was good here. And they're like, no, it wasn't. But that's not the only stuff that he's tweeting out. And I was mentioning like the stuff with his doctor. Was it Dr. Fauci? I don't know how to pronounce it. But
yeah, Fauci.
He's saying, no, this malaria testing is not as optimistic. And Donald Trump says, no, I'm very optimistic about it. So they're contradicting each other. I think that sends a bit of a mixed message. And for me, I just don't love. I do love it when Donald Trump plays catfish with the media and throws out the shit that just get them all riled up to send them on a wild goose chase. That shit's hilarious. My thing is it the best thing during a pandemic? I get the optimism. I do. I think we all need it. We really do, especially from the highest position. But at the same time, making the media chase everything you do, I don't know. Some of it is thrown out there, and it does get to the masses, and they take it the wrong way. And what was the drug that the couple took? Chloe took wine?
Yeah, they drank a fish tank cleaner, and then the media tried to frame this as Trump encouraged them to drink this. Here's how I'm going to frame this. I'm stealing this from somebody. I don't even know who I'm stealing this from, but it echoed with me so clearly. Trump also told you to wash your hands. So is he now responsible for every drowning in America today? Like, that's how stupid this has gotten to a certain point. So he's like, hey, this drug has potential to help you. There is some, I don't want to say clinical evidence, but there's anecdotal evidence. And some doctors say this could be something, but they have not done clinical trials. And Trump even agreed with his staff that, okay, yeah, let's do the FDA testing, but let's do it now. Let's not wait. Let's get this damn thing going. If it's good, let's get it out there. This has hope. I want to go for it. And everybody just wanted to shit on it. And then when the one guy drank that whatever cleaner for his fish tank, they just wanted to fucking drag it under the coals. What if that is the cure? What if that is the best medicine to have is this drug, and they just like drug Trump over the fucking coals for promoting it? Like, they're not gonna self-report that they were fucking idiots. Like, they get to say whatever they want as much as they want. It is just ridiculous right now. Phil, I imagine you're clamoring right now. You're waiting.
Well, you do have a good point there. I mean, like, wow. I mean, chicken, imagine if our deceptive shithead media was lying to us. What? I don't know what to fucking say to you, sir.
Somebody will tell them, right?
Yeah, we all kind of know that's what's going on. I am kind of shocked. I figured we would probably see at least some level of solidarity happen, but the people who are deep in their political tribes, they're dug in like a tick, and they're not. Yeah. I don't know how. Like, wow, I thought this would give us solidarity, and now, granted, like. Grow the farm up, and Tony and you've been saying, like, we all got full bellies now. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, it's scary. Scary to see where we could go.
No, that's it though. I just some of these. Unfortunately, we live like we mentioned earlier. I brought up the person that had absolutely no freaking clue. The agriculture business and the trucking industry is what shelves the stores, and people go, well, we can go to the store and buy that stuff. Where do you think it's coming from? But my goodness, I don't get it. People are stupid, and people do stupid things. And especially right now, everybody's freaked out. Everybody's looking for that miracle cure. And if somebody says something and they latch onto that, unfortunately, bad things are going to happen. And that's one of those bad cases of something bad happening. So that's the first of, unfortunately, many, because again, we talk about the 18 months, being 18 months out, right? Well, that's for vaccination, for treatment. I think that's pretty low. I think we're looking at more like 36. I'd double it before we actually see some real talk about a vaccination and a cure and real treatment. I think at best we're going to be looking at keeping this at bay, trying to not allow it to cycle back every time we hit spring or hit winter.
I'm just saying this is the new normal. Just get used to it, folks, because they talked about it in those press conferences. This is going to come seasonally like the flu, is really how they're painting the picture. And he again, the doctor you mentioned, I can't remember his name now, that it's slipping my mind, but he even mentioned that, like, what are we doing to prepare ourselves for the next wave of this? So if this does calm down, it moves and subsides, and then we go through the summer business as usual, what are we doing from now to August to get ready for the fall? Because we know fall and late winter would be the next two rounds of this, and then a vaccine, like you mentioned. And everybody's been saying it's going to be 18 months or more before we can mass produce enough. But then, I don't know if you guys want to put on that tinfoil hat with me. What if they mandate that you have to take this vaccine? That's
Oh,
that's a big conversation right now.
That's a good question, because if this becomes a mandated thing, which in all honesty it probably should, because the way that this spread worldwide, we want to nip this in the ass and take care of it before it becomes the new norm, something everybody's with, regardless of when you're born, forever. We want to take care of this. Is this going to become a part of those standard vaccinations when you have children? I would assume it will be. So it's going to be really hard to have this be a mandated vaccination and treatment, because there are going to be people who push back on that idea, because of course there are. That's just the day and age we live in, of people who are afraid that vaccinations cause autism and cause health bad stuff, right? So I don't know. It's an interesting question. I don't know that they'd have a lot of luck mandating it, but it probably needs it.
Phil, what do you?
I'm a bit gobsmacked, I'll be honest. Because here we are, truly, honestly talking about such things as holding off elections and mandating vaccines for every man, woman, and child. What the fuck happened to our world in the last few years? Now you see why these COVID chronicles are so essential. To me personally, I have just made the personal decision that I will not be taking any vaccinations until enough has been distributed to the elderly populations of the world. Basically, I'm young enough I can survive it. So once enough has been manufactured so that the elderly populations of the world can get theirs, and it's been proven to not, make you shit out a kidney or whatever, because I don't really feel like the pharmaceutical company's R&D department for them. Once all that's been figured out, yeah, I'll take one. But if it's, hey, we came out with the vaccine August 6th, August 7th, we all got to take it. I think I might be missing that day. Call me crazy. It's like, what do you know? The first round, everybody shit out a kidney. Luckily, most
it's kind of like going out and buying the brand new Xbox or PlayStation and going, God, I can't believe this get out on me in 3 months. Maybe they didn't have all the kinks worked out just yet. I get what you're saying.
I was about to say, have you seen, the Xbox Red Ring of Death? Several firearms have not been doing that well. Like the Army's new M17, the SIG P320 was having a bunch of problems. Like there are problems to product rollout initially. So I'm going to hang back, let some other folks take that hill.
I did have, this is going to sound crazy. Well, not crazy, but the thought I had was, I actually had a few thoughts, but sorry, what was that, Phil?
Oh, I'm just basically going to hang back and let some other folks take that hill. You were kind of like, when I was talking about the Army's M17 handgun, you kind of had a thought.
Yeah, no, I'm curious. What have been the numbers since the outbreak? We've talked about this on the show before, the gun violence and the gun laws and restrictions. Curious, what are the mass shooting numbers and data since this pandemic really started in full swing?
Like fucking zero. I don't know. I haven't looked it up. I don't think anybody cared.
It would, it would be kind of tough to pull off such a deed in the era of social distancing. It's certainly wasn't the intended consequence, but it's just kind of a side effect. But gun sales have been going through the roof. Ammunition sales through the roof. The mayor of San Jose, California, very odd edict. He tried to, and I think he's done so successfully, shut down the gun shops in his city, not because of social distancing. They were keeping social distancing regulations, but he said His quote, I'm going to try and be as accurate to his quote as I can, but in a time when we have people panic buying food, we don't need people panic buying guns. And so it's like, interesting. There's a political angle to this. Now, I understand if you want a gun for self-protection for your family, perfectly valid. I think it would be fair to say get such a thing ready for you and your family before the pandemic comes. That's one of those preps you should do during the sunny times, to be frank.
Yeah.
Now, hindsight's 2020, ain't it? But I would, I certainly understand wanting to go get one now, if you don't have one. But that's
the whole idea on stocking up food is for family survival, and that's the same reason for going and purchasing guns as for family survival. So I see how they go hand in hand. You get a little paranoia probably with some folks, and but then we had Matt come on an episode. What was it, last week? And he mentioned his younger brother had purchased a gun, and anybody who knows his brother, you should be worried that this man now owns a firearm. So I'm sure there's some of that out there. There's probably people buying guns that shouldn't be buying guns, which is unfortunate, but they go through the same background checks and all that good shit that we do. So, but then that's the other thing is I thought it was funny. There's been a lot of short clips and videos and posts of people. You know, I saw one of a gun shop in, it was like North California. He like posted made a little viral video. He was all pissed off because all these liberals that have been like banning or trying to kick his store out of town for years and years and years, that don't even live there, now we're driving up to his gun shop wanting to buy guns, and they're mad that they have to wait several days because they have like a 3-day waiting limit on guns, and they're all pissed off. They're like, what do you mean I have to wait 3 days? He's like, you caused this. You caused this. You made this law, you jackass.
Yeah.
They thought it was easy to buy a gun. It's funny.
Governor Gavin Newsom signed new legislation that made it a 10-day waiting period in California now. So, it's pretty draconian out there in California because there's this whole list of guns that are banned that you can't have in California. And to me, that would kind of be like me telling you chicken. Me, Phil KOE government, is now telling you there's about 120 words and phrases that are now banned for you to say. You can never say them. But your First Amendment rights are still intact because you can still technically speak. That's kind of the argument that the California government is giving its citizens in regards to the Second Amendment.
I thought Phil was going to challenge me not to say something, so I was like, I was posturing up. I'm like, what words can't I say? I'll say it.
Well, exactly. That's the way Americans are. When you tell us, no, you shouldn't do that. Well,
fuck you, I'm doing it.
I've often said, if you want to actually decrease the numbers of people that actually use like marijuana, just legalize it. Won't be cool. It's like, well, I don't even want to now. It's not hipster and rebellious. Fuck.
All right. Okay. So I had a thought the other day. I was actually listening to it was a live episode YouTube did the other night, and you're talking about the potential of banning interstate travel, and if that came down, like, yeah, you're right, it'd be National Guard, Army trying to enforce that, mobilize local law enforcement, so on and so forth, but not policing it. But I was just thinking how ideal a place like Nebraska would be if something like that happened, because correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Nebraska would be pretty good self-sustaining makeshift country for the foreseeable future if something like that happened, because we have so many natural resources. It's such a large area and we have such a low population. I think we'd get by pretty well here long term as opposed to some of the other states.
Well, if you're going to pose it in a way that you completely shut down the state and make the state its own own like country, if you know, in quotations. I guess you're kind of right. Here's the challenges you're going to run into is you have too much cattle because you're sending those out for mass distribution and to butchers that, you know, do packaging and spread them across the country. I know my company alone like has a processing plant just for cattle that we buy from ranchers in Nebraska, and then we butcher them and send them out to thousands of Walmart stores. So you have an overabundance of that. So now you have to feed all them, but you're going to have to make trade deals with all the neighboring states that are now their own countries. It gets really fucking complicated really quick. I'm just thinking cows right now, and I'm just like, holy fuck, you got some problems there.
Well,
dude.
Up in your neck of the woods, South Dakota, you also are one of the unique states in our nation. It's only a handful of, I think, about 8 states that have more cows than people in them. South Dakota has more cows, and I actually looked up a statistic today. As of January 2020, Nebraska had well over 6 million cows in the state of Nebraska, which is staggering. And if you were to do the math on that, each cow, 1,000-pound cow on the hoof when it's sent to market, will generally give about 430 pounds of retail meat. And so if you were to do just quick, and now it's not going to be this exact number. There's going to be some that produce more, some that produce less, some that are going to overproduce, some that are going to get sick and not make it. So just pure numbers, 6 million cows times 430 at 430 pounds, we're over 2,580,000,000 pounds of available retail beef in the state of Nebraska alone.
Okay.
Cows make it to market weight.
So Phil, let's bring that down to the lowest dollar value. Now, granted, you can't necessarily do a ground beef with all of that. That'd be dumb and really just unrealistic. But if you were to do that, the cheapest ground beef you can get is, you know, maybe $2.87 a pound if it's on like a really good sale. So what's that poundage time $2.87? I'm curious to see what the value of that is, because that could be a major asset. It's a big number.
Yeah. 7 trillion.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, wow.
No.
You know what? Wow.
7 billion, 224 million.
So over a $7 billion potential income. Now that's on the low end. That's your cheapest. What you would retail it at. Now, of course, you know, you have the expenses that go in between there. It's going to bring your margins down a little bit. So that's not going to be a lot of profit with that, but you need somebody to do that for you. That's the problem. I guess I would pose to Tony's original question of if Nebraska were its own state. So you have a great asset that the rest of the country would need, or other countries would need. So you I don't know. It's a viable thing, but you know what? I don't know how many more people live in Colorado that could just storm us with guns and take over our state.
Have you guys ever seen the movie The Seven Samurai?
Yep.
One of the best movies ever made if you've never seen it. And it highlights a problem that farmers have had to deal with for fucking millennia. Some fucking horde coming over the hill and just taking the whole of your entire labor because they're hungry. That's happened time in memoriam to farmers. And so I don't even think it's going to be hordes of people from Colorado. It'll be, wait, why is the New York National Guard here? Why is the Wisconsin?
There it is.
Why is the California National Guard here rounding up 600 head of cattle? That's what it's going to look like, folk. And yeah, and that was that's what the samurai were of the day. And when you watch Seven Sam the Bandits, so that's that.
Well,
it's that story all over again.
That's crazy. It's accurate though, and I can tell you right now, everybody that has cattle and hogs right now in my area that I deliver to, they're still being fed. You're welcome. So they're very viable right now, and God, I hope it doesn't come to that because that's some scary shit right there. Granted, there are some guys that probably are past those days of farming that they need to be. So maybe it's time to hand those cattle and hogs off, but we don't want to do it by force. No, I don't want to see that.
No, I don't think anybody does.
Yeah, I did kind of paint a nightmare scenario, but is it really that far off? We're big
No,
agricultural
it's not.
nations, and let's be frank, the hordes of California and New York are not going to give a shit about our tiny little property rights out here in the middle of the fucking square flyover states.
Wait. Unless we can grow a lot of pot for them, like then we might be able to
Colorado
strike up.
Yeah. Well, that and they've got mountains. They've just got a geological barrier that's going to keep people from descending on them. So I would.
Yeah, we're fucked in that regard.
What's that?
We're fucked in that regard. It's an easy access state.
Well, I don't know. I can see them coming 10 miles away.
Major cities. Other than Omaha, we're more than one gas tank away from any major city. So that's our saving grace.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what you fellas think. I think we start wrapping this up a little bit with some shout outs. Like I think we'll go around the room. What was the greatest thing you've seen out of people in the I don't know, the last couple weeks? Like I've seen a lot of really, really cool things of people just being kind. I've seen bad things too, don't get me wrong, but I think we end this on a good note of like, what is the coolest thing you've seen, or maybe something you've done that you're proud of and just want to share with the folks, and we end this bad boy on a good note. And those in the chat, feel free to chime in. I'll throw them up on the screen. Any good things that you've seen come out of this whole coronavirus drink? Give everybody a second to drink on that one.
Oh, and by the way, Grow the Farm Up had one. Take that times like $5.60 a pound. By the time you figure all the different cuts, it would be over $20 billion.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, I can't see hungry hordes being enticed by that at all.
No. Phil, you're up first. What's something good you've witnessed or been a part of?
Kind of like I touched on earlier, is despite all of this, like it's been said by David Brooks, we are all separate, but we're all going through this together. And at least from what I've seen, people are a hell of a lot better than they're given credit for. Like even when I was at the grocery store and there was this younger lady trying to get flour, and there was this little old lady that was trying to get flour. And there's only 4 bags of flour left. Okay? And you would think elbow, battle royal. No. The younger girl actually put 2 bags of flour in the old lady's cart. I watched it happen in front of me. It was actually really nice. And she took the other 2 for herself. I was just there for like canned fruits and such, so didn't confront me none, but I just thought like, wow, so we aren't in the grab everything for yourself yet. And that was heartening to me. Like I said, maybe, just maybe. It's like the phrase from Blood Diamond, like, I want to believe in the essential goodness of people, but it's my experience that teaches me otherwise. Maybe, just maybe, people are a little better than we give them credit for. So
maybe, yeah. Cheers to the flower lady.
Indeed.
Yep. And cheers to all y'all that joined us this evening.
I like this one. Brett chiming in. Wife was driving around the other day, just to get out of the house, and noticed a ton of families out walking with kids and pets. That is cool, because Honestly, I've seen the same thing. I've seen a
Yeah.
lot more people out running, exercising, jogging, but
Yes.
tons of family and like everybody walking by is all like, I'm kind of an introvert and I don't like people up in my shit, which is kind of funny. We run a podcast and I'm an introvert. It's so it's fucking weird. But people walk by my house, I'm like, leave me the fuck alone. Like, don't talk to me. And they're like, hi, how are you? I'm like, fucking keep walking. But I'm glad to see people out and about. It's great.
I agree.
Cheers, Sarah.
Cheers to you, miss.
So Tony, what do you got for us?
Kind of in the same wheelhouse. I'm seeing a lot of those social media posts about people realizing that it's not just them being affected, and like Phil said, people rationing out what they're able to find at the grocery stores and the Walmarts, so on and so forth. Like, hey, I'm not going to hoard this because I can see in other people's eyes and demeanor that they need it too. And that's great. I've seen a bunch of posts like that. And the same thing you just said, like specifically this week we had a couple nice days of weather. Like today, it wasn't that. There are a lot of people out exercising on walks, and the big thing around here was the restaurants and the bars that serve food. They're offering delivery and curbside pickup. They're trying to get people not just to stay open and viable for themselves, but trying to get it to people in need. That I think that's great, but also like the auto manufacturers stopping production on this and that. I think it was GM, Chevy are stopping production to do like ventilators. Like Mark Cuban is offering money. Elon Musk is investing in some other stuff as far as medical supplies go. So really, that's what it comes down to me is the people on the low end population scale, person to person, being real people and being genuinely nice in moments like this. But then the people on the high scale that have boatloads of cash offering to do stuff like that. And Anheuser-Busch has stopped production to do water again, I believe. Like Phil said, Tito's making hand sanitizer. You're right. People are better than we give them credit for when faced in a dark situation. Unfortunately, again, though, this is just the cusp. Hopefully that trend continues. And I'd like to see the media rally behind that instead of playing politics, because we need more of that to get through this unscathed.
So I agree. I think we can drink to that. And Phil coughed on camera before I got to mute him. So we'll drink to both. So
Took a drink of water. It went down the wrong pipe.
yeah, that happens. Oh, no, that's good.
It's dark times, but hey, there's light. There's still light in it. So you got to pick the good out of the bad, unfortunately, because there's a whole lot bad.
I think the best I've seen is just like, I don't know, probably some of the kindness in the people that I see at work, similar stories, little lady waiting in line for toilet paper. We just go fucking find one somewhere, or anytime we can, or we just, there's got to be ways to work around some of this stuff. Because from what I've seen, unfortunately, is every time I see a good story, it's preceded by a bad story that led to a good story. And unfortunately, that's kind of, that comes with the field right now. And hopefully that kind of slows down. We'll see how things are to come. And hopefully we, as a society, grow up a little bit. I think this is going to be trying times for that. I think millennials are starting to grow up a little bit and kind of get over their shit, but it's the other generation that we're hearing about that's the next hated one, the Z's. Maybe this will help them speed up that growing up process, because I think there's some work to do there. Personally, maybe I sound like an old fart, but whatever, we'll get past that. My best moment of the week, my brother Lynn submitted on our Facebook page, Elon Musk making a huge donation of ventilators he bought from China this week. That was pretty cool. Elon Musk jumping in and sticking to his word on stuff like that. I think the things that I would probably appreciate the most personally, what I'm seeing is just the everyday people that aren't being praised. I spent a lot of time with my wife yesterday, it being her birthday. So happy birthday, Hammer Time. Cheers, chink, chink, all that good stuff. But she's really, she's not like super concerned about all of this, but she works in a daycare facility and she's exposed to all kinds of stuff. And she's like, I don't know how to maintain 2-year-olds staying 6 feet apart and follow these guidelines. And it's impossible. There's so many like horrible things. And if one comes in, the whole place is just shut down. And then now all these people don't have a job to go to and they can't help people anymore. So I think those are some of your biggest unsung heroes. I think we've heard it for nurses, we've heard it for doctors, we've heard it for retail, but I want to give it up to, some of the, if you're safe, if you are clean and somebody needs childcare that has an essential job like a doctor or a nurse or somebody that has to go to work, damn it, Phil. We heard that. Drink. Phil coughed.
No, you're absolutely right. I've got 3 in daycare myself, and I'm still shocked that they've been able to keep functioning throughout this whole thing. And it's great that they have. We put a contingency plan in place that if they were forced to shut down, I would go to work during the day. She'd rearrange her necessities around to go to work when I got home, and basically we would just do the tag out method, every day until this whole thing kind of blows over. I'm hoping it doesn't come to that. And it's great that we have people like that able to provide so that we can go to work and keep the infrastructure that needs to be going, keep going. It's the unsung heroes of this. There's so many, because there are a lot of people who have suffered from this, like you said, that are out of jobs right now, and hopefully they can bounce back from this, and hopefully the stimulus checks come in, and everybody can keep thriving without getting to that desperation point, because that's when society turns ugly, when we get to a desperation point on a mass scale, and we want to avoid that at all costs. So to all the unsung heroes, thank you. Everybody keep doing your part. We'll come through this. We'll get through this in the right way.
Cheers, folks. Everybody's doing a little bit.
And I will say everybody is discovering their abilities of home cooking.
Even if it's just mac and cheese. Good job.
Yep.
Step 1, mac and cheese. No.
Yeah.
No, God, I just had something on the top of my head and it just like completely fell off because I was thinking about mac and cheese. I haven't had mac and cheese in years. I'm like,
I had it tonight.
Wow, that sounds good. Piss off.
Chicken. Couple of chicken breasts.
Yeah. Gamer. Yeah, no, I think, take some of this information that you've been getting from the show, what you're seeing on the news, what you're experiencing in real life. I think it's, we call this the COVID Chronicles on purpose because this is kind of a digital log of what's really happening. And we're bringing up some actual news and bringing up some actual conversation. This is kind of a timeline that we're all going through. So, there's almost like a digital journal, if you will, of how this is playing out. I do recommend the folks at home take note and keep track of like the good things. Cause like for an example, and probably something I'd probably encourage everybody to do if you're doing any homeschooling with your kids right now, I am super impressed with how efficient my son is with me teaching him compared to a stranger. And I understand his needs and how to communicate with him way more efficiently than most people do. And I laid out his homework for him at 7 o'clock this morning, and then I went to work, and then I scheduled time to set off my day to 11 o'clock FaceTime with him and say, hey, dude, like, what'd you get done? What do you need help with? He sends me a text at 10:38 and says, Dad, I'm 100% done with all my homework. Ready for you to check it when you get home. Way more efficient than our school system. That's one of the coolest things to me. Like, I can go to work and trust my kid's going to get his stuff done. Granted, I'm probably a little bit more privileged than some people. I can afford Arlo cameras and other things so I can monitor shit while I'm on the road. And he's a little older. I know you can't do that with a 3-year-old. That's not going to fucking work. But I was fascinated, though. They put him in school from 8 a.m. till 3:15 p.m. And he comes home and bitches about how he didn't learn anything. And then he's got homework. And then I have to sit there and teach him his homework. Guess what? I'm teaching him the same amount of stuff now. It's just now he's home. He learns it faster. He gets it done faster. And then he can enjoy his day and go play outside. Like, I don't know.
There's distractions, that you just have to deal with the classroom. And unfortunately, not every classroom is the same. And distractions are distractions. And all kids are affected by different distractions in different ways. So, yeah, the classroom is such a strange beast of way of learning because every kid takes to it differently. Every kid takes the curriculum differently, and there's no way to judge that. So it is pretty cool that I am hearing a lot of parents say that their kids are actually surprisingly thriving in this scenario that nobody expected.
I kind of did.
It's kind of, well, before all this happened, there was a certain king of extreme who will remain nameless at this moment, who kind of said to everybody, you know what, homeschooling's not going to be the end of the world, and you're actually going to find you're going to enjoy it. And Chicken, one of the things you even said, like, what do you know? A parent understands their child's needs better than anyone. Gobsmacked. I don't know what to say to you, sir. It's like, that was my experience with it when we were doing homeschooling, and it's really not the end of the world. And you're going to find that you're able to adjust to your child's needs the best. And I just was thinking, that sounds like what a certain king of extreme was saying a few weeks ago. What's the comment here, sir?
My brother popping in. Both the missus and him are essential. Never had essential, even though they never had essential oils. We have a babysitter that hasn't taken new kids, so we can continue to work. I'm assuming she has taken new kids. That lady is awesome. And that is the unsung heroes is those helping the essential out. I have the couple of memes about how essential I really am. I'm literally just driving supplies from building to building. I don't go in them because I don't want to infect them or be infected by them. So it's really weird. It's really weird right now.
You're kind of a makeshift truck driver at this point. But the funny thing, like, I don't have a kid in like school. I have a girl in Tyke, and obviously that's just like all the other school is called off for the foreseeable future. But he's very mature and understanding for a 4-year-old, and asks questions and really wants to understand the gravity of situations. Like he really nitpicks us when we answer a question he has vaguely, like, no, he can pick up on it. Like, no, you're not really telling me everything here. And that's been the hardest thing, is really trying to explain this entire situation to him. Like, why am I not going back to school? Well, there's a sickness going around, and he wants to know the details and the intricacies of it. It's really hard to explain to a 4-year-old what's going on in the world. And you look at, and I've got 2 2-year-olds. Like, this could be the infancy of something big long term that is just the way of life for them as they get older. And that's a scary idea too. Not to drag us back down to the darkness or anything, but it's realistically something that we're just gonna have to deal with long term. And these are kids that are gonna be growing up in this world now, having to deal with this.
Yeah, I agree. Let's without dragging us into a deeper conversation, because we still want to wrap this up. We've been trying to wrap it up for 20 minutes now. Let's try to wrap this up. Phil, what advice do you have for everybody? And then let's sign each other off as we go through. Go ahead, sir.
Since you were just mentioning your kid and birthdays, my little girl just turned 11. Love you, Josie. But all that being said, folks, do what you can to stay safe out there. Do what you can to help folks that you can in need. We all have been stocking up on a little extra supply. Do a little back and forth bartering with folks. If you find yourself with some extra toilet paper and you're lacking some sort of whatever, barter with some folks. We can all help each other out in some way. And as the orders come in, I guess we're just going to do what we can to try and help to stop the spread of this virus. Hopefully not just slow it, but we'll see what happens in the future and in the coming days and in the coming weeks. To come right here to the Dog and Chicken Show COVID Chronicles to find all the latest happenings. We will do all we can to keep you up to date on everything we can and to give you the chronicles of what it was like during this historic point in our history, folks. Historic point as a species. And we were here to see it. And we're here to chronicle it in one of the most entertaining ways possible, because you get to see it with Dog, Chicken, and the devilishly handsome outlaw himself, your king of extreme, Phil KOE. Gentlemen, I'm signing off and handing it off to my indomitable broadcast partners. Take it away.
Tony?
No.
He coughed. God damn it.
Ah!
Drink.
You know what? I'll be honest. Every time I had to do a little throat clearing, I just muted my mic so that
Phil's just leaving the camera. It's like he just got the fuck out of there.
Fair enough. I can't really fault him for that. All right.
But, anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, no. Just be smart. Don't take this lightly. I've said this before, but take this very seriously, but don't freak out. Like you said, bartering would be a great thing. Don't overboard. But I liked what you said the other day about medical supplies are going to be something we're all going to need. You don't need to hoard medical supplies and bandages and things of that nature, but make sure you're stocked up, but make sure other people can stock up. We all got to get through this long term. So be human about it. Be mindful of yourself and be mindful of others, and just stay safe and remain to be thoughtful of everybody about you. So that's what I would say.
No, fair enough. I'd probably say tag on to all of that. Just start thinking about, like, today was probably the first time. It was today and yesterday. I think it was the first time I personally actually asked my wife was, have you texted the neighbors lately? Are they okay? Because I think what I found with myself is we're so caught up in our, when the whole world's about to implode, we kind of fall into our bubble, and that bubble gets really small. And that's kind of human nature. And I think right now is not the time to do that. Of course, if you have elderly people, parents, grandparents, whatever, it needs to be calls out to them. Make sure they're okay. I told my mom, I'm like, hey, I still got people back home. Like, if you run out of hamburger, I'm sure I could call about 50 different people and somebody could bring you a frozen roll of hamburger and help you get by. Like, little things like that if you have the resources or people with resources, start branching out, start reaching out to people. Cause, I'm thinking to myself, how easy would it be for me to call somebody and ask for help? It's not. I'm not that person. I'm too prideful.
I agree 100%. Yep, I get you.
and that's most of your parents. That's most of your grandparents. That's most people our age. When you get into those, mid to late 30s, most of us are too prideful to admit we need anything. Somebody's got to call. Somebody that cares about you. Somebody's got to call. So start calling them, start asking around. How you guys doing? What can I do for you? You don't have to go visit me, but I think it's time to start checking in on everybody and make sure everybody's okay. Hopefully this is coming to an end soon. I'm sure there's more to come. It's not going to get better in the coming weeks. It's probably going to get a little worse, but we've been through the first 2 weeks of it, which has been kind of hellish. So we can do 2 more weeks. We'll be fine. I've survived so far. We'll make it another 2. So I don't know. Any thoughts go along with that? Are we ready to just wrap this bitch up?
That's the nice thing about you mentioned before, people really being better at being people than given credit for. In a time of sadness and a time of darkness, you really see the humanity in people. And as much as it sucks, given the circumstances, it's nice to see that we still do have so much humanity. And hopefully that trend doesn't just continue, but goes on an upward trajectory, and we all pull through this together because of people being human and people being good people to each other.
Hell yeah. Awesome. That was a 2.5 hour long show. Phil, you want to wrap that shit up? I'll put you full screen. You give us the outro.
Jeez, folks. This has been another dog and chicken show. A dog and chicken show so nice we had to outro it twice. Folks, thank you one and all for joining us. Grow the Farm Up, Brett, Jeremy, all the folks in the comments section who left us comments, who came here. You're the folks who makes this show happen. And hey, we're all in this together. We might be apart, but we are here together in this. So folks, keep it right here for all the live updates and when we have another live stream coming. Get that like, share, subscribe button going. Get those notifications. This is where you can go to get the COVID Chronicles, folks. Check it. Take it away.
All right. As always, folks, appreciate you tuning in. Like, share, subscribe, share with your friends, do all that good stuff. And in the meantime, be safe. Stay away from each other. Wash your hands. And as always, love you. Bye.